Warning, this video contains opinions. You might not like or agree with said opinions. The maker of this video is well aware that true bypass germanium fuzzes and tube distortions are possible to accurately emulate. Also, tone is in the fingers and not in the effects or the amp or the speakers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, Sweaty Future here. Now let's just rip off the bandage and say it. Guitar pedals are kind of stupid. Right. Now, before you pull out the big forks, let's just quickly get a grasp of why I'm saying this. And it's mainly to emphasize something that I've learned over my guitar pedal journey. As you can see, I have a bit of a pedalboard thing going on, which started out as just, oh, let's get a pedal, let's get two pedals, and then it totally went everywhere. And now it's kind of crazy. And it made me realize a few things which I want to relay to you, so hopefully you won't do the same stupid things I did, which might save you quite a bit of frustration and probably quite a bit of money as well. So why are guitar pedals stupid? Let's start off with some scenarios, shall we? So let's say you're a small-time band, just some friends hanging out, playing small gigs on small stages, moving around in a van, you know, that whole thing. In this situation, having a big heavy pedalboard to lug around can be an issue. It's also a liability because there are more points of failure and it's expensive. It's a big, expensive, heavy thing you have to lug around and it's probably going to be complicated to interface with the front of house and all that sort of stuff. Because after all these pedals, when you switch them around, there's a likelihood that your volume is starting to change between settings, which might cause issues for the venue. It's also very frustrating for your band to deal with. So yeah, it's not ideal. Now, if you're just going to do the tuner, dirt pedal, maybe a reverb thing, that's probably going to work out just fine. But once you start to move into that whole shoegaze, doom, big board thing, yeah, it's tricky. At this point, I would highly recommend, if you're the kind of guy that likes to move stuff around, just get a multi-effects. It's going to be cheaper, easier to operate, you get the nice sweet ability of saving presets, and you can set the gain equal on every preset, so you can more easily work with venues, which is a big plus. Let's say you're not a small band, but you're a medium-sized band, playing some bigger venues and all that sort of stuff. Surely this is the point where you start to invest heavily into a pedalboard to have all these nice shiny boxes and to impress everyone which is going to see your show. And I would still say, nope. No one is going to be impressed, and I would still highly recommend buying a multi-effects. Again, easier to move around, presets, it allows you to set gain on every preset, so you have a nice equal gain going to the venue. And the sound engineer will be very grateful for you doing this. Another big advantage is having a cheaper setup than going with all pedals. Because if you're going to go for the big pedalboard, you're also probably going to want to have some sort of switching setup, which is going to add complexity, potential issues during gigs, technical issues, never fun. And as another downside, it is just going to be big, heavy, expensive, something you don't want to get damaged during touring. Yeah, it's just not ideal. Once you move up to that upper echelon of being a total rock star, you have your roadies and all your stuff. Surely this is the point where you buy all the fancy pedalboard gear and bring 15 pedalboards and just spread them out all over the venue floor to impress everyone with your amazing pedals. Nope. Wouldn't do it. So, fairly recently, actually, Nita Strauss made a post about this, where she had an issue with one of her pedals, and she uses multi-effects pedals, but she was smart enough to back up all her presets to the cloud. So, when she had an issue with her pedal, she would just go to a local store, buy a new pedal board, or maybe get, I don't know how that works once you're a rock star, but she arranged a new pedal board, downloaded all the presets, and she was right where she left and could just plug it in. Everyone knew how to deal with it. She had everything where it used to be, and it was just awesome. And that's another reason why a lot of these bigger acts are starting to use all the fractal, XFX stuff, campers, all that sort of stuff. It's just way more convenient than pedalboards with all their weird quirks and routing issues. Now I might hear you say, well, you're not a touring musician, you're just a guy at the attic. So why do you care about all this convenience stuff, right? And you're just a home engineer as well, likely. So why not get yourself some nice boutique pedals? Well, it's not really boutique, but it's fancy. It has lights. That's cool, right? Well, it might seem tempting, but dealing with effects is still a kind of annoying thing. First of all, if you're not recording tracks in a single take, like me, you just record something and a couple of days later you're like, oh yeah, right, that was fun and I probably need to make something out of this. If you're using effects with all these knobbies, thingies and stuff, and you don't actually take pictures of your settings, you're pretty much shit out of luck trying to recreate whatever you had going on. Another downside is once you get into that mixing stage, you might end up realizing that all the sounds you've created are actually not that suitable for mixing. Now you could, of course, mitigate that by having a DI going and just recording it both with the effects and in the DI and then reamping it and all that sort of stuff. But for every single change you're going to make, you are going to have to reamp it. You have to run the entire track through your pedalboard again. It's just a lot of stuff to deal with, a lot of extra mind space that is going to occupy your brain. It's more stuff to keep track of, it's more stuff to interface with. If you were to just use VSTs, you can just set them up, play into it, and if you're like, isn't quite it, you can just change the dials a little bit, change the faders a little bit, and you get a new sound, or maybe load in a new plugin. It's very convenient. It's also incredibly money efficient. Not just recording efficient, but also money efficient. You can just buy VSTs for a couple of bucks. You can probably get a decent suite of VSTs for the price of just a Zoya, let alone the entire pedalboard thing I have on the floor here. And you have a whole lot of flexibility. And you also have the option to duplicate effects, which is very convenient. Do all the multi-band stuff and parallel routing and all sorts of cool things, side chaining, without having to mess around with complicated wiring things. Wires, by the way, very expensive. Even cheaper ones. They are still going to add up on a big pedal board. If you have like 10 pedals, that's at least a in and out cable for every pedal, and if you're doing this sort of weird parallel flexible routing thing I have going on, it's basically 2 cables for every pedal to a main point, so that's like 20 plus cables. Expensive stuff and very inconvenient. However, there's still one thing that pedals do really well, and the one thing that I think is the biggest value of pedals is the hands-on experience and the convenience when just playing. And that's where I find I use pedals a lot. Is when I'm just at my desk, I'm like, okay, I'm going to mess around a bit on my guitar. I just plug in the power adapter, thing comes alive, plug in the guitar, play. There we go. No distractions, just the guitar, pedals, sound, and things happening. And I think that's a big advantage of pedals, which you lose with VSTs. I'm not going to say this offsets all the inconveniences of pedals, but it definitely is one of the charms. And of course you get all these nice little lighty box blinky thingies going on, which always look kind of fun, right? So yeah, pedals in general, try to stay away if you can. Just invest into some good VSTs or get a nice multi-effects and make your life a whole lot simpler. That's my little rant about pedals. See you in the next one.